green. Fuck. This is gonna be an interesting podcast when I can't tell the difference between green and gold. Fucked.
Well, hey, remember that dress that they did with the social media? Is it white?
Yeah.
And what was it, gold and blue? And
Well, I'm colorblind.
Yes.
I'm slightly colorblind, so everyone's looking at it. I'm like, it kind of looks black and white. Is there a difference? That was fun. That just shows you how weird people are with what they're enraptured by, and how the color of a dress is great. It's like, why does everyone care about that?
Well, we are recording, so.
Oh shit!
All right.
Hey everyone, welcome to Superhero Speak Interview Edition. I am your host, Dave.
I'm the other host, Don.
And joining us, good friend of the podcast. He hasn't been on in a while, but he's back. We're going to have a great conversation with our good friend, James D. Schumacher III.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
How are you doing, sir?
I am fantastic.
What's
hanging out with you three? You two gentlemen. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's just the two of us now.
That's good. You guys are doing your own thing now, evolving superhero speak, doing stuff that's cool. I mean, you got a cool background, I just noticed.
Yeah, with Spider-Man and everything, he turns them on.
But batteries are dead though, so he's not on right now.
Oh, so you're not able to turn Spider-Man on tonight.
You're not even prepared for Spider-Man. I mean, I have my little little sign up here that's on. Don's got all his cool ass shit, and you've got a dead Spider-Man. What are you doing?
Just shit in my basement.
Yes.
But how long has it been then since who were the hosts since, because this is like the third iteration officially, right?
Oh yeah. I think it was
well, though the
Captain
original
Wow here.
The original hosts were me, John, and Ben.
Right.
And then Ben left and was replaced by JD.
Mm-hmm.
Then JD left and was replaced by Don, and then John left. So
you're right. This is officially like Mark IV.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
There was the brief. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the Iron Man armor.
Exactly. Exactly.
It shifts and changes. But it's changing for the better too. Like that's watching your guys' stuff recently. You guys have been actually like on target, doing way more focused and awesome stuff.
We got a comment on our last episode, the one we did last night. Chuck Dixon, who is the creator of Bane in the DC Comics, who's actually a friend of mine online, commented, and he's like, "Wow, you guys talked for an hour and 20 minutes, and there's nothing really to talk about."
Right.
We impressed him. So
that's awesome. His way of saying you talked about a lot of nothing, or you just were able to talk.
Might be.
That's how you tell when you're around like a bunch of people you kind of jive with and around topics you actually like.
Yeah.
The hour goes by like that. So when you're having to struggle to even just connect to people, and we see that a lot going on in so many other venues where you're just like, okay, please stop. And it seems like a 20-minute podcast is an hour because you're like, what? Because that's the one thing I hate about like a lot of podcasts is so many people go into like, here's my book, here's this, here's that, here's this, and that's all they talk about is book, comic, and there's no getting to know people, no getting to understand the hosts like Don, who's an Omega level nerd, getting to know David or getting to know James. It's just marketing.
Right. So I was gonna say, what have you been up to for the last, I guess, year and a half?
Oh God, it's been longer actually.
Yeah,
I think it's been longer. It was like, I went through a lot of, lack of a better term, I went through like a sabbatical.
Okay. Yes.
It was the death of my father that caused, like 2017 was, I think we did our first podcast in Superhero Speak 2016.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, so it's been almost a decade. But in 2017, I had a bunch of stuff going on in my life, and then my father's death hit, and it hit like a Mack truck, and it completely leveled everything. My wife said it was like the first time she's ever seen me fall flat on my back and not get right back up. Because I'm so used to working television and film where you had to just continuously move through every obstacle. His death, it's very easily explainable, caused such a, lack of a better term, my mother passed away in 2009, and I always said that my father's death would be easier. That is a naive assumption and it was founded on fucking sheer stupidity, because the way in which my father passed was brutal. Because I think my dad knew he was dying for like at least 2 years before he died, because he was preparing everything.
Yeah.
And one of those preparations was the sit down with his son going, hey, and at this time we had just kind of started to rekindle the relationship between father and son. And he was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And then I read through his will, and we went through everything, and went through his wishes. And his wishes were that when the time came that we would just let him go. We wouldn't just keep him on life support.
Right.
So Zara and I had moved, and I was working on my old comic Inheritance, figuring out how to market it and move it even farther, getting into more conventions, when we got that call that was from an ER doctor going, hey, you need to get to Reno, Nevada as fast as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to Reno, and fuck, I hate talking about this still, even though my whole book is about this. It's tough. We go into the ICU room, and my father's there, and he's somewhat lucid, and he's shaking because of what we ended up finding out was his entire body was going septic. Like he had an infection in his kidneys, and it killed the kidneys, and it just spread like wildfire. And the doctor brings me out this clipboard after telling us he's really not going to make it. And while my father's watching and lucid and staring me right in the eyes, I signed the paperwork that would quite literally kill him.
Right, yeah.
And it's that guilt that spurred this dry spell, this complete and total eradication of a life I was building, thinking, oh, this would be something cool I should do. And like every guy I know, every man I know at least, always wanted their father's approval. I think that's universal for men, is we want to, if some of us have great relationships with their fathers and some of us didn't, and the guys that didn't, usually you're trying to seek it out. So I had spent my entire life trying to connect with my dad, and we could never figure it out until the last, like, I'd say 2 years to finally kind of connect into it. So he was always wanted to be this filmmaker. So I was like, okay, I could do film. I can live my dad's life for him. And it led me to nothing but a complete destruction of who I should have been. Because when I was a kid, I grew up on like comics, and I grew up on novels. Like I would read. We all remember Goosebumps.
Yes.
Like, at least everyone that's cool remembers Goosebumps. And I remember my dad, I was like telling my dad, I'm like, hey, I want to read Goosebumps. And he's like, okay, but you need to read this. And it was like 1984, it was like Moby Dick. I was like, okay, cool. And then my mom was like, hey, you could try to write if you want to. So I started to write, and I remember my first novel was 110 pages. So it was probably classified as a novella.
Right.
I gave it to my mother, and she read it. And my mom was an upstate New York woman who didn't really, that's why I swear a lot, is because of my mother. Even when I was a kid, it was just nothing but profanity. Because New Yorkers are notoriously short.
Yes.
And she's like, do you want the kid answer or the adult answer? I was like, both. And she's like, well, here's the adult answer, is that it fucking sucks. And I was like, what? And she's like, the kid answer is great. And she's like, what book did you read that inspired the story of a flying cow skull killing campers? And I think it was The Werewolf of Fever Swamp from Goosebumps. She's like, grab that real quick. And then she made me compare page by page by page by page. And she's like, look at the differences between this. Look at how everything is marginized, and how everything's like, its leading and kerning is perfectly set, and how its fonts are chosen specifically for readability. She's like, what you did was great. And I was like, talking to her, and she's like, what did you do here with this font? Because the cow skull would speak, and I used Windings.
Okay.
Like an old Microsoft Word sheet.
Right.
And she's like, what is Windings? I was like, it's a font. She's like, well, that's great. She's like, find a font that can reflect that you can actually read, not that's something that's illegible. So I abandoned that when my father became a little bit more abusive with me, where he started to take the side of other people over my mother and myself. And that started this journey of trying to placate and trying to be enough for people, trying to fit into a certain parameter that they would find acceptable enough to allow me to be close to them. And that did not work out at all.
No, it never does.
No, it destroys you. Like, that's the thing that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's the thing that destroys you. And it destroys a lot of men. I see this more with men. That's one thing with like Tannhäuser is it's directed towards men. It's men's fiction. When my wife read it, like behind me, there's these books by Karl Ove Knausgaard. He wrote a whole series called Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, not to be compared to Hitler's Mein Kampf,
right?
Where he literally unabashedly talked about his life, didn't take out a bit. He's one of those guys that actually has a good memory, and someone called it a monument to male shame because he was open about everything that he ever went through, the stuff that most men hide. And right now, I kind of see there's like a smaller and smaller slice of male fiction out there, and it's kind of worrisome to me. It's kind of like we're told to censor to a certain extent. You can't just say, okay, great, I'm going to do this. Like,
so yeah,
so it's like that rom-com you said that you watched.
I was gonna say, like,
dude, Romy Michelle's high school reunion, that shit's bomb.
no, hold on. We are definitely in the Western world, at least, in a society where men are being marginalized more and more. It's becoming more of a feminized society. And it's funny because on Valentine's Day, my girlfriend and I went and saw Solo Mio, James or Kevin James's new movie, and it's a rom-com, but it's told from the male point of view. Like, he's the star of the movie, and it's the basis of the movie is he meets a woman older, and he's older, he's never been in love, they fall in love. He's this art teacher, and they get engaged and go to Rome to get married, and she leaves him at the altar. But he decides to go on the honeymoon in Rome anyway, and then meets someone else and falls in love. And it's fascinating because it is a romantic comedy, but again, it's very different because it's a very male-centric movie, and I loved it. My girlfriend's like, it was okay.
Well, it's because they aim for a target demographic.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
so
like we see it more and more now. I can't remember, Zara and I have talked about it a couple times because Tannhäuser itself has sex scenes within it. And you see reviews coming out of novels and books where it is heavily criticized because it's a male author. Mm-hmm. How dare they speak about women, or how dare they use a sex scene to categorize and recontextualize a main character? Because we see it, we don't see it done as much. But the caveat of this is that is bad. But then 50 Shades of Grey has sold billions of copies. You have some of the most vile shit out there. Like, there's shout out. I'm going to order the book because I want to read it just for curiosity's sake. The Milking Farm, which is about a prostitute house where they milk demons and dragons and centaurs. That's okay. But heaven forbid a man uses a sex scene and a female character to contextualize the character, because a lot of men do that. A lot of men aren't really open with how you were perceived by the opposite sex. And if you're not perceived as well, it kind of installs a set of programming into you that you're not as good as you could be. And most men don't really talk about that. And you don't see it openly talked about in fiction, where it's people kind of self-censor. And we're seeing self-censorship going overdrive everywhere right now. It's like, just tell the stories. Who cares about what people think? You're going to get people that hate it. Great. You're going to get people that love it. Great. You're going to get people that are ambivalent. I hate that. I'd rather someone hate it or love it rather than, but you have to be unabashed. I hate the word unabashedly. I keep using it for some reason. You have to be okay with being hated, mocked, derided.
No, absolutely. No one ever said, "Oh yeah, I made $1 billion because I restrained what I really wanted to do." Like, no, all this brilliant stuff is just people going for it, And yeah, a male not being able to write a sexual scene. I mean, come on. It takes two to tango. So yeah, both perspectives can be had there. I don't know if they're just mad at J.R.R. Martin with the Game of Thrones stuff in the season one there. But cancel culture spliced with the Me Too stuff really has changed media in a profound way. We'll eventually claw back as we notice all the stuff that is just fuck you. Like look at Deadpool, he could give a shit less, and we throw money at it like it's the cure to cancer. So it's a great point. I mean, the male stuff should come back. Give me my Rambos, my Commandos, my Predators. Well, come on, let's go.
I mean, and let's be honest. You started off by saying, your father passed away, and it is true. All men seek validation, and the first person that we seek validation from is our father. And then if we don't get it from them, we look for it in our partner, whoever our partner is.
Well, ironically, oh, good.
And having having sex with your partner, having a relationship like that, is part of that validation in the male ego. Like if a woman, number one, we both sexes, let's be honest, look at sex very differently. But then that's the whole thing. Like if you're in a relationship and all of a sudden the woman seems to lose interest, you start doubting yourself. So yeah, it's an important thing. So to censor that would ruin the story, I think.
I'd point to I had a teacher back in high school, my only good teacher. The rest of them were douchebags. Part of those people, one was a failed thespian that decided to become a teacher, and he hated anybody that wasn't the four kids that he hung out with. But my other teacher was teaching myths and monsters because I chose that as a secondary to advanced placement English. And Jeff Janke, my old teacher, was like, we're going to read 2 books. And the first one was Beowulf, and we all read it. Then he gave us Grendel. And if you've never heard of Grendel, it's the perspective of the beast that Beowulf kills. So you have Beowulf's epic side to him where he's killing the monsters and destroying things and ruling over his kingdom. And then you get Beowulf, who is this tortured animal that is in such agony, and the sounds and the screams of them torment him and torture him to the point where he has to act. It goes back to not modern Star Wars, at least, but like Star Wars, like Darth Vader.
Yes,
is one of the best examples of the same dichotomy of storytelling. Is that sometimes the villains are actually the victims, and that's how it was with my father. I ended up finding out the reason my father and I kind of reconnected is my mother, before she passed, told me some stuff from my father's past that he would never ever tell me, and he never told me up until the day he died. Because I told her, I was like, he's the worst father. I don't ever want anything to do with him. And she slapped me across the face like any good mother and was like, hey, shut the fuck up. She's like, this is what happened. You are not to tell anybody, and I haven't told anybody. And it literally caused me to analyze, especially now as we're working on the book itself, of how my father looked at the world. And when people are rejected from their own families, they do everything they can to claw back into it. They do this thing where they will sacrifice everything for the love of people that can't reciprocate. We see it where a lot of men that haven't learned that lesson of okay, once it stops, you're best to just walk away. Just walk away, move on. The feelings will fade. The dopamine levels will drop. Whatever the hell you want to think about it, it all kind of just settles. And my father couldn't do that, and he destroyed his own identity in service of people that would never really love him. And part of that destruction was my mother and I's relationship with my father suffered because of it. And I started to see in the months after 6 years after my dad's passing, when I started to kind of wake up from the miasma of shit called grief, that I was repeating the same behaviors. I was seeking validation from people, and I'm talking everybody. I was trying to seek from old business partners on comics to readers to reviewers to everything. I was like, okay, well, someone didn't like this. This is because of this. And I was over analyzing the fuck out of shit. And I was breaking everything down. I was like, oh my God, I can't. I'm horrible. And then the best thing that came out of my father's death was the destruction of that need for validation. And I just sat upright and held up two middle fingers and I'm like, we're going to go this direction. And I told my wife, I'm like, we're going to do this book. We're going to build a business around it and we're going to go and we're going to go full steam and see what the hell is on the other side of this.
So, okay, you just unpacked so much, but you're making me think of, like, obviously this book is very cathartic, very therapeutic for you. You're putting a lot of yourself into this book.
More than I have ever.
But that's the thing. Now, going back to the validation point, like, as an artist, it's kind of like you're putting your open wound on the page. Mm-hmm. And is there a fear that if the book's not accepted, that's going to make it worse?
Nope. Okay. The only, like, with mine, like, poor Zara, my wife, she's like, she hates it when I'm in the writing mode because everything's ripped wide open and I kind of turn into like the sullen person as it's spewing out. And it's just like this, and it's a cliche saying and I hate it, but I'm going to say it anyways. The laying the tracks in front of the train because you're desperately, furiously trying to type on a keyboard. And my phone is filled with probably 2 gigabytes worth of notes because at random times I'll stop and have to pull to the side of the road because my brain starts spitting out things. And that's how I've always known I was on the right track. And as I came out of this and I began to I see more stuff like right now being done that I was trying to do with my old comic Inheritance. Like the new Godzilla comic, they just announced it today. And I was like, oh my God, it's a horror comic. I was like, fuck, thank you. We're doing something cool. It's like Godzilla -1 or -0. That was a brilliant film. But this one does this thing where you're in the water and the foreground water is blurry. And then they just layer water back to where Godzilla's bursting out of the water. I would try to do that. It was met with resistance because it would be a gimmick. And I'm like, okay, so it's kind of cool to, like, you kind of see stuff I was trying to do a decade ago kind of start to actually make sense. And that's just that, okay, you know what? Some of this might work in this book. Some of it might not. Some people are going to connect to it. But fuck it. I'm going to do it this way, exactly this way. I'm not like my editor. When she saw the stuff that we're working on, she was like, what's all these? I'm like, so I explained to her what it is, which we're not telling anybody. She's like, could we turn a blank? I'm like, no. So, okay. And then I was like, okay, well, what do you think of the punctuation? She's like, it's fucking balls to the wall. She's like, I wouldn't change it. It's like, if we're going to do this book exactly like you're planning on doing this, where it's like an actual piece of ergodic literature that requires work into it, why are we going to censor anything out of it? She's like, go as far as you feel you should go. She's like, pull back only when it starts to feel gaudy. That's her descriptions to me. And there's been a couple of times like where I had a secondary character. I was like, okay, this will be great. This will be fucking cool. I'm going to punch it in there. And then I did the layout and I looked at the page and I was like, this gives me a migraine. I was like, oh my God. And that was when my brain's like, cut that out, please. Just discard it. So I'm not really afraid of it. I've been through being told I was horrible. My ideas are dumb. No one would care about them. To I'm nothing but a walking gimmick because I wanted to do certain things in a horror comic that I hadn't seen done at that point. And I've seen it done in films that I was directing and stuff with people that are resistant to anything that's not A, B, C, D, or the current arc of the Joseph Campbell character arc. Because you get people that are so stuck with that. And that's why you see modern fiction, movies, even to a certain extent, video games where it's just, you can predict it. Like you can watch it and go, I'm hitting this point where the third act is changing. Like we just saw last night, Don't Worry, Good Luck, Don't Die.
Oh, okay, yes.
Brilliant fucking film. It's crazy as shit. I'm like, you can't tell anything. It's just literally taking you along with the story. It's not following any sort of arcs, not following any sort of like Regiment, it's just, this is the idea, a guy in a loop, go. And everyone just goes. So you see all this, you see people pulling back. We see it in indie comics and indie books all the time. It drives me nuts. Like,
yeah. So, okay. We've talked about the process. We've talked about what's in the book. If you were going to, obviously sell the book to someone, what's the elevator pitch that you would give?
I can give you the log line.
Okay.
So the log line is, as a cataclysm brings the world to its imminent end, one man, Benjamin Tannhäuser, races against, oh my gosh, I can't speak. Races against time to catalog the remnants of his broken life before all traces of humanity is eradicated from the annals of recorded history. It's the I had this idea when I was a kid of seeing the end of the world through a singular perspective, never breaking that perspective, never doing the let's see the White House blow up or the Statue of Liberty get exploded like Independence Day, but I wanted to see something that's wholly one person. The closest we've gotten to that in cinema literally is Chernobyl. We've never seen that show. Is fucking brilliant because it does subjective storytelling better than any television show I've ever seen. But then you have like Birds and Signs. Even though the water kills the aliens, Signs is from the perspective of a family going through a trauma.
Yes.
But I tell people all the time is Tannhäuser is a book that makes you work. It's not something that's, I'm just going to read it like this, or it's not going to be, it maybe eventually get turned into an audiobook. We'll see. But it's one of those books that, like House of Leaves, is the closest analogy I can give to people. Not many people know what House of Leaves is. I'm assuming based off that look, you don't.
No, I don't. I'll be honest.
So, House of Leaves is hard to, like, Zara and I just met the author finally. He's like one of the guys that kind of gives permission to ergodic writers like myself. Is literally this book about a house that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Okay.
And a husband and wife team that move into the house, find out that one of the doors into a wall goes into a labyrinth that constantly changes, constantly shifts. All that section is the center of the book, and orbiting that story is a blind man named Zampano who's trying desperately to categorize what the fuck he's watching because he's watching this documentary. And then on top of that is a 23-year-old tattoo artist who's an alcoholic and a drug addict suffering from schizophrenia, analyzing Zampano's work after Zampano's death, who's analyzing the story of a house that's bigger on the outside than it is on the outside, that is contextualizing the story of a husband and wife's relationship falling to pieces. But then again, like you've read it as much as I have, the story isn't even about that.
Well, it sounds. I mean, from that description, it sounds like one of an unreliable narrator type tale, where
it is
like elements of what you're unfolding may have happened or may not have happened. It's from that one interesting perspective.
Well, I was raised. My mom was huge in because I was raised LDS. All my LDS brethren out there, how's it going? And part of the Relief Society, they would focus on genealogy, which is to track your lineage as far back as you can. And I remember my mother coming home when I was a kid, seeing just on the table, because we had this long oak table, just pictures and letters and like everything you can think of our genealogy. And I was like, that's fucking great. That's a great way of telling a story. Like, and then Steven Spielberg founded the Shoah Foundation, which is it categorizes and protects and preserves the Holocaust survivor stories.
Yes.
So you type in someone's name and it pops up and it populates every news article they've been a part of, everything they've ever seen and done, and any interviews they were a part of. And I was like, that's an interesting way of potentially telling a story, is to break out of the mold of my book reads left to right. And to figure out, okay, well, if it's left to right, and then you have the ability to do footnotes, endnotes, write the margins, change things, and do things that people really haven't seen. Because if you look at House of Leaves, there's sections of it where you have to turn the book in your hand. But this book was written in 2000. You have to turn it, flip it, and whole sections you have to hold it against a mirror to read it. Because what's happening in the story is this dude's going through a hole in the wall, and he's describing what's going on in the hole. So he goes through the hole on one page, the other page is reverse, and it's the description of what he's seeing outside. I was like, that's brilliant. Not anything I want to do with my book, but it lights the fire to go, okay, cool. Someone else has done something that outright is insane, and no one had ever really done that before. And he ran into resistance that he still does to this day because everyone calls it a giant gimmick. And it's like, it's not a gimmick. I'm a firm believer, and I hate that word gimmick, but I think modern stories are gimmicks. Because I think if I'm remembering correctly, my definition for gimmick is doing something to kind of draw attention to itself.
Yes.
So when you just repeat, oh, I've done this there's this new story. It's a Arachnid Man. It's like, okay, we get it. You're ripping off Spider-Man to hopefully pull that. That's a gimmick. And you see the same thing being told in stories and movies. It's just awful. It's like abysmal. It's terrible.
And how many stories do you hear in Hollywood where it's like Die Hard is the big hit at the moment, so everyone's pitching it's like Die Hard but this, or Speed, it's like Speed
it's
but this. Yeah, exactly. But to do something different, that's art, that's creative. Yeah. So
well, it's like when I ran into it with Inheritance, where there's a section of it where I'm like, I want to do these splash pages where it's just a hand. And this little girl's pushed down or put into the basement by her sisters to go look at the dead bodies in the basement. And she runs back upstairs, and the demon's chasing her up the stairs, and you can see the steps bending and with each kind of sort of step. And that was cut out because they didn't want to do it. But then we got to the point with a hand, and I want to do this close with a hand. This little girl digging her nails into the wood as this force is pulling her off the stairs. I was like, let's do splash page, splash page, splash page. So you flip it, and it almost operates like a flip book. You see this little girl's hand sliding off the page, and then her hand lets go, and then it's mid-frame, then it's 3/4 out the frame, and then her dad's hand comes in and kills it. So I hit resistance with that like crazy. It's like, just do it. We'll see how it goes in the conventions. And every convention, when people would flip through the table reader, they would get to that point, the money would come out. Because it wasn't just another Conjuring Exorcist. It was taking the comic form and pushing it to a different level of going, okay, well, let's do it this way. And then you can continue to do the same thing. You can continue to do The Crow told 8,000 times, or you can make your own.
Right. And it's, I mean, that's actually a great moment in the comic, because it harkens back to the idea of old horror movies where they would cut away and you wouldn't see the monster doing whatever the monster's doing to the victim, because what's in your head is way worse than anything they could show on the screen. So to see the hand getting pulled away and not knowing what's going on is scarier than anything that you could read. So
see, the regret I have for that is I fucking answered that question. Like,
yes, well,
like it showed the dad's hand, and I should have just cut the book so that people get through the what is this? Fuck! It's the cliffhanger thing, but the cliffhanger is done as it's done over and over and over again. Like with Tannhäuser, when my wife read the third draft, she's like, this is a wall of text. It is just no chapter. It's just this fucking wall of text. And then there's a moment where it just lightens. And it's back. It's like this, it's like a pulse in the book. You can actually track. Because that's the one thing in novels you can do better than films and comics is it's literally, if you approach, like I'm approaching Tannhäuser from a stream of consciousness from one guy, cataloging his life in a week and a half on a terminal as fast as he can. And it's just it's like when I after my dad's death, I wrote a bunch until I couldn't, and then that's when it stopped. And it was all just errors, spelling, grammar, punctuation was fucked. Everything was just jacked. It was just, okay, that is what writing can do better than most. Because you can get, in order to do that in a film, it's just some person blah 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 blah, like rattling off shit at you, and you're like, after a while, it's like, please stop. Like, I think the closest we have to that contextual ideas in film is Andrei Tarkovsky and Bela Tar's work. Bela Tar wrote and directed a film called Satan Tango, which I'm probably butchering. It is 7.5 hours long.
Oh, okay.
It is like, I jokingly say it's the House of Leaves of film, where it's just so thick. It's like War and Peace. It's like watching War and Peace.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I could see that.
Just, I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So I was going to say that you had said, when you had the idea, you said you want to build a business around this. So what do you mean by that? Obviously the books, I guess first off, what's the plan with the book? And is there anything else you're building around it? Besides going on podcasts and talking about it, like what should we expect?
You mean whoring myself out?
Yes.
What else am I doing besides
business
whoring
has business has only one goal, sir, and that's
it's to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
No, so around Tannhäuser itself, we're building an apparatus for release to do all of our own release.
Okay.
Because I built relationships with comic stores across the country, bookstores. We built relationships with podcasters. And my wife asked me one day, she's like, well, why are we not doing our own thing? Why are we going to take this to high-end publishers so they can take a 40% chunk of it? And granted, you get a little bit more reach with them. But that's becoming, it's also not a lot of options of return. Or it's just, you run into more and more resistance. They want changes. You run into the aspects of censorship that we see. Oh, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say this word because it may offend a certain group of people. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. So in order to control as much of my book as we can, we're building an imprint around it.
Okay. All right.
And then the 2 other books that we're developing simultaneously with it. And then I've got 2 other friends of mine that are writing a couple of their books that we're in talks with them to kind of start picking up their stuff. Doing it almost an image style, kind of like going, okay, you'll maintain rights, but we do this kind of stuff. I mean, you also got to run into the fact that most people can kind of release their own shit. Like they can go through Amazon, which I hate because I hate getting a book. I hate going to comic conventions or book conventions, and it's an Amazon print, and it's literally just the squeezed edge. And you're like, this, you want me to pay you $30 for this? It's literally just a book. Like that's the thing.
Right.
Like the best analogy I can say is, are you familiar with A24?
Oh, yeah.
They do stuff that's completely balls to the wall.
Yes.
Like one of my close friends, he's retired military, and he wrote this brutal book. It's just funny. It's just brutal funny. It's military funny. And he's like, well, I want to do something like this. And if he took it to publishers, they'd be like, no, because you're going to offend so many people with it. And I'm like, well, we can see if we can do it this way. If you want to come over here, we can talk about possibly redesigning it and doing it in a way that could potentially work for you. I mean, but then you're going to get people that are like, I want to do it my own way, do it Amazon, and more power to you. I'm not looking for people really at this moment. We're looking to release these next series of books to get it out there to prove the point of that you can kind of create novels and graphic novels in a way that's not derivative of everything else we've ever seen. And it's kind of all we see it. Like I was just at Barnes & Noble today looking for a replacement copy of Blood Meridian.
Okay.
And it's just a wall of covers that all look the same. It's the floral patterns of the giant fucking name. It's just like, what the fuck? And then you look at the spines. The spines are the exact same thing. And you're like, people go there. Indie authors go to these stores and go, okay, well, it's on the shelf, so it has to be this way. No, it doesn't have to be that way, but you're not going to stand out from any of this.
And the worst part, most of those covers today are probably generated by AI.
Oh,
that's even the worst shit. I see that all the time. You get people going, "Oh,
wash your 6 fingers." Yeah.
Yeah. Or my personal favorite, it was on. I think it was on Reddit. Someone was saying this lady wrote this book and she released it, but she forgot to cut out the prompts. You would get through a couple chapters, and then there's the prompt: make her say this or insult her. It's like, holy shit! I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, AI is here to stay. I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think it's eventually, and I agree with Gary V. It's going to outright dethrone Google. It literally takes the same
for sure
apparatus of Google and allows you to have access. You can ask it comparative questions, and it just populates an entire text prompt of like what it is you're talking about. It's okay, that's cool.
It's wonderful. It does, because I like to I run a Star Wars tabletop game here every other Friday, and I'm illiterate when it comes to literacy, writing. Like, I'm in a deep fucking pool right now just listening to you, by the way. I'm just like, whoa.
Sorry.
Where the fuck am I? But anyway, what AI does is it helps me make a game. I thought I was going to have to like download stuff and give it the rules of the Star Wars edition I was playing. I didn't. It knew all that. So like, it is a great tool for someone like me who's, not creative, but yeah, it Googles all the rules, everything you need, so that you just put those prompts in. But apparently, it's not a great editor if it's leaving prompts in published books. But no, but yeah, you can't be totally dependent on it. It does all the repetitive, boring work.
Well, it's like, I think Gary
be creative.
See, that's the best part about it, is it allows people to be creative, but it's. Gary V warned about it, and I'm a huge believer in this, is that when it crosses the line to generating the work for you, you've now crossed over into just straight copyright theft, because it is a differential index that is scanning. It's just trawling the internet of shit and just spitting out what it thinks you want it to. And you get people that are, I directed this. And then you see underneath, it's an AI contest. I'm like, you didn't direct it. You wrote a prompt. You wrote something that says dog running by car. Doesn't mean you fucking directed it. You didn't set the lights. You didn't do any of that shit. You didn't, just like the people that prompted to write their novels for them. It's like, you didn't write anything. And it's derivative of everything else. So it's becoming this homogenized cesspool of shit. Same thing with the covers. Like we see covers that are just abysmal. And you can tell they're AI. And you're like, if you're not gonna, like, I hate the old adage, and it's stupid because I hate it, of don't judge a book by its cover, because everyone fucking does. You go to a bookstore, like,
right,
that cover looks like shit. Why am I going to give you money? It's like same thing at comic conventions. When we printed Inheritance, we printed it on 80-pound paper. So it's heavy. You felt the weight in your hand. It was like, okay, this actually has value to it. And as opposed to, here's newspaper print. You're like, okay, you want $6 for this? Okay, cool, thanks, but no thanks. And I don't know. It's just getting worse.
Yeah, no, and oh geez, the thought just went out of my head. Oh, there was a contest, like, I want to say a year and a half, 2 years ago, that Todd McFarlane and IDW had, not IDW, Image had, for fan made covers for Spawn for their anniversary.
I know where this is going.
And one of the winners was an AI generated image, and it's like, how is that right? And
it's not. That's a bad judge.
Yeah, and I don't think
super bad judge.
I don't think Todd McFarlane ever actually like acknowledged that, because there was a lot of outrage online over it, and it's like,
why would he? That's got to be super embarrassing.
It is. It has to
we
be.
gave an award to an AI
I'm just going to make my toys now.
You're just like, what the fuck? I don't know. Like, people were. It's like the new version of tracing.
Yeah.
And straight copying. It's like, wasn't it? I can't remember, some guy that did Incarnate, where people ended up finding out that he was straight ripping off another manga series, and you're like, dude, come on, don't just put the tracing paper over it. I drew it. It's like, I remember being a kid, I traced a car in one of the car books. I drew it. I was like, you fuck, you did. You traced that.
Yeah, and it's got to be interesting for artists, like, because you put your art online to be able to reach people so they can see it, but now you're afraid.
Now you just fed the beast.
Exactly. Your original art's just feeding the beast. So
that's what we also ran into, like, to a certain extent, like a lot of creatives, it's maybe controversial to say it, but a lot of creatives, like writers, directors, artists, overvalue themselves. So it pushes a lot of people that are like poor to going, I'm going to do AI. Because I remember talking to one guy and I was like, how much? Oh, I'm like, $300 a page. I'm like, what's your social media imprint? What's your fan base? How many books have you released? Well, I worked hard on it. Yeah. I worked hard on writing it and paying you.
There's there's definitely an attitude toward that artists have, like young artists too, who haven't done anything, that like, oh, well, that's what I heard. That's what the guys that over at Marvel are making. Yeah, but you're not working for Marvel. Like, you got to start somewhere. You can't ask for the top dollar.
It's like, get some books out there. Get your name out there. Build it some more. Kind of go, like, put some quality behind the stuff. Because I see that's even getting more egregious as we go on, as the quality of everything is going down. Like, I say this all the time about Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. I hated. What's that one series? Everyone hated.
The Acolyte.
With the fucking the witches and stuff. Like,
yes,
that's awful. This is my opinion. Doesn't mean if you like it, that's great. I'm appreciative of it. I'm appreciative that you actually like it. I think the best Star Wars that have come out. Okay, let me go back. Half of Obi-Wan was shit. And it was everything that wasn't Obi-Wan and Vader. I didn't tune into Obi-Wan and Vader for some chick. I'm like, great. You'll build her into a story. Build her own story. Great. Don't take out half of Obi-Wan, because the Darth Vader comics were brilliant, where Vader's searching for Padme in the Force. Like, stunningly brilliant. That could have been in there. And I'm hoping they do a proper Vader series where they analyze Vader from that perspective. Because but when you get to the end of Obi-Wan, that last fight scene without the weird camera that just kept doing this, absolutely brilliant. Loved it. I was like, okay, great. When it cuts his face shield open,
yep.
Like, oh my God, that's so brilliant. Fucking brilliant. If you just did that, the whole series, it would have been awesome. This brings me to the next point. Andor 1 and 2, utterly perfect. I have not seen a Star Wars done that good in forever, where it deals with politics, but it doesn't go, oh, we're doing this. We got the woke, we got the extreme right, we got the extreme left. It's just politics, because that's how the empire rose. The empire didn't rise just, oh, hey, how's it going? What's the saying Padme says? The death of a liberty, freedom, and applause. Something with
liberty dies.
Yes.
Thunderous applause. But
doesn't do that. It just is brutal. I remember watching Andor season 1. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be great. Andor season 2 blew it completely out of the water, because it didn't stop to do identity politics. It didn't stop to. It just says, here's a story. I still remember at the end of the first season when you find out the shit they were building in the prison was parts of the Death Star. Like, oh my God! My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "That's the Death Star." What are you talking about? I was like, "It's the Death Star." But it's this overcomplication, like Acolyte. I tried to watch it, and then I know people were pissed off about the Sith guy or some shit, because I've never watched it. It was like, oh, the Sith guy is too strong. I'm like, okay. Well, that he was something. You were talking about it at some point, David.
Yes.
Because I was the one on your YouTube comments stirring the shit. Do you not remember that?
Yes. Because
that was me stirring the pot just to fuck with you.
Don loved the show. Well, not loved it, but he is a defender of it. And and mostly
you
everyone
can
hates
say
it.
that you don't like it. I understand lesbian space witches isn't everybody's bag. I understand.
The power of one, the power of many. Sorry,
I only take offense when people start throwing around, oh, it's lore breaking, and
what's lore breaking?
Right. Well, exactly. But and you're kind of Dave with your thing with Yoda thing. Like Yoda is infallible. He can't have known of this plot. It's like no, Yoda did kind of fuck up, and I know your layman Star Wars fan doesn't get that. But I loved Queer Mirror. I loved the introduction of the cortosis weave. Like you just fucking headbutt a lightsaber. Yeah, Darth Plagueis is awesome. It sucks that we're not going to get a season 2 because I feel it would have went more toward him. So, but you're allowed to not like it. I don't get offended by that.
Everyone should be allowed to not like shit because once you start getting to the point of trying to control what people can like and can't like, you've crossed the line into censorship.
Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars fascist, Yeah.
No. Like I still remember, I hated Last Jedi. Absolutely despised it because I was like, what the fuck? I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, Force Awakens was a remake of A New Hope outright through and through. Same beat structure, same thing. And it's like, please do something else. Please, instead of it, I can't remember, Snoke. If it's Snoke, please let him be Plagueis. Please, please, please. Nope. And then they kill Snoke. I'm like, and then he's clones, and then somehow the Emperor's return.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Yes, the line that'll always be thrown in my face till the day I'm put in the ground, or at least the incinerator. But so let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
What about the they were gonna bring back Kylo Ren, Kathleen Kennedy, the actor. They wanted to do it, but then
Adam Driver
says. Adam Driver, I know how I forgot that about Adam Driver, but then Iger said no. Like on a scale of like 0 being not ridiculous and 10 being lesbian space witches in the Acolyte, how ridiculous is that to you if they continue? Because I love the character of Kylo Ren. Did you like?
So did I.
Like okay. So am I crazy for thinking, hey, it's Star Wars, they can bring people back to life?
What's the thing that I like about The Force Awakens the most is he kills Han Solo. Because everyone's, oh my God, it's because it goes back to all the stuff we're talking about. Is every son has an issue with their father. And sometimes that issue's taken so far, and then the only way for me to get to this point where I'm at with my book and building this business was to kill every relationship that I had with my father. All the old stuff where I was trying to be him and trying to get him to care about me, I had to just kill it. And that's what so many people miss about Kylo Ren in that scene. Oh, you just killed fucking Han Solo, and Chewie screamed. Okay, that's not at all what he did. The dude was doing what he thought he needed to do to kill the weaker version, which was the light side of himself, in order to become this grand villain. And I remember hearing some rumors of what J.J. Abrams's trilogy would have been. I don't know if the rumors are ever true or not, if it's just someone writing it. The idea is that Kylo would, Rey was always a Palpatine, and Kylo was always this person. They began to cross. The Force things crossed in the middle at the end of Return of the Last Jedi. Because with her going to the dark side, she is the Last Jedi. And because Luke was always going to die if I'm understanding correctly. But then at the end, it would be the Rise of Skywalker is Ben Solo rising as Skywalker, saving her, and then they would go on to continue. And I was like, that would be brilliant. I liked Kylo Ren's stories. I loved his lightsaber. I was like, that's fucking great. That's cool. He's got
that is cool. That cross sword. Yeah.
I mean, the dumbest thing of Kylo was the shirtless scene, and it's like,
well, okay. Maybe, but come on, I had that helped the wife be interested. I kind of
see.
Yeah, and the brilliance of his lightsaber is that it was imperfect like him. It made noises. Yeah.
The best thing from that whole trilogy, and I'm pissed they haven't done it because they haven't done good lightsabers, really. They've done the coolest thing they did was the Force when at the Rise of Skywalker where they're fighting on the old Death Star, and he catches one of them catches the lightsaber, and the Force is just ripping the fucking lightsaber to pieces. I'm like, that's cool as shit. I'm like, that is insane. Do that. Do more of that. Or do the TikTok thing where they're dueling with the lightsaber and they turn it off and just turn it back on underneath the blade.
Those dual phase lightsabers. Oh yeah.
It's like, dude, cool. What I think Star Wars needs is it needs to just drop all politics and go back to just telling stories. And you can put the politics in there. Like the best analogy I can say to this is a
it's all politics.
Oh yeah. There's a Christian theology book or series called Left Behind. It's about the apocalypse, right?
Yes.
I read them all. They're pretty cool. You watch the movies, fucking awful. Because in the movie, it was done by Kirk Cameron. Okay, you got the Battle of Armageddon happening. Evil's killing itself and good's fighting and dying. And in the middle, they're like, all right, everybody stop, hold hands. And they're praying. Every fucking 20 minutes is like, hold hands and pray. I'm like, you can tell that in a better way. You can do this. And I point to Andor as the best example of putting politics into it without shoving it into your face. It's just there. It's the backdrop to which these characters are existing. And you could do the same thing like Kylo Ren. Like, and I think Kylo would be a cool series. Whether or not they'll do it or not, we'll find out. Like, I think Vader would be an absolutely brilliant series, and they should do it. And I like Hayden Christensen. But this brings me to the next point. Everyone talks about how we missed old Star Wars. All the angry side of the fandom, the crazy people, the fucking people, were the same motherfuckers saying George Lucas raped their childhood after Phantom Menace. I'm like, don't cry for the halcyon days of Star Wars when you were tearing the dude that made it apart because he put Jar Jar Binks into it.
Thank you.
You go back and you go back to it, and Jar Jar Binks is actually not that bad. I mean, everyone's like, oh, it's fucking terrible. Don't get me wrong. He's weird, but it's not awful. It's not having fucking Luke drink out of a titty of an alien on a planet.
Yeah, that was a bit much, even for me who likes that movie. That was a bit much.
And you have to give people the leeway to create Star Wars. You have to I think that's with the excitement of Kathleen Kennedy. I think the whole control she was manipulating over Star Wars will start to lessen with Filoni taking over. I think Filoni, if he just goes, do it, create some Star Wars, figuring it out. These are the parameters, stay within these parameters. Not, well, it's got to be this, and this. It's like, holy shit. Just if they can get us more Andor or Vader, just that shot. You didn't kill Anakin.
I love it.
I did.
Yeah, that was good. No, absolutely. I fawn over that all the time. Yeah.
I mean, it's not even bad. Like everyone says, the Star Wars has gone so bad. It's like, have you guys not seen the new Star Trek? That's pretty fucking bad.
Oh yeah, Dave. I need to ask you about that.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard.
I will take The Last Jedi every day over that.
I have heard from every Trekkie that I know that has watched it is saying it is the absolute worst thing they've ever seen. Starfleet Academy. So it's just like I'm just steering clear of it right now.
What's the TikTokification of shit? We see that a lack of mental focus, or I don't think of the word focus, that most people, modern day people, cannot maintain focus. That's why large books like that's Tom's Crossing. It's the same guy that did House of Leaves. It's 1,300 pages. It is a fucking brutal read. And it causes so many people to look at it and go, nope, because it's so large. It's such it requires such amount of work. And that usually is because of you can go onto TikTok and in 30 seconds, you have a whole story spit to you. And you're like, okay. And we see that. Where I think it was Ben Affleck and what's his name? Matt Damon were just talking about their deal with Netflix, where they're like, they were told every act they have to reiterate what the story's about. They have to talk about it all the time. They have to have action. They have to have movement. And everything has to be flashy.
Yeah.
Because so many people are like texting and watching, and they can't focus on one thing directly. It's like video games are the one thing that I think people can still focus on a lot because it engages so much of your brain.
There was talk for a while that the future of storytelling was going to be TikTok or a shorts style where it was just 1 minute clips and you just got to keep watching the clips to get the whole thing. But there has to be, but each clip has to be like a contained piece. you know, so that it can stand on its own. It's like, I can't imagine trying to write like that to make it work.
Well, it's strip mining it. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a long form storyteller. Even my scripts when we were doing films, they were always long. I remember turning in one script to a friend of mine. He's like, "It's 143 pages." I was like, "That's how the story came out."
Yeah.
So I should have taken that hint a while back to go, I should be doing novels. I should be doing shit that's like long. Because novels you can control exactly how much. Like when we were talking to my printer and he's like, "How long is it?" I was like, "This long." He's like, "Oh, fuck you." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, that's a large book. He's like, "It's gonna be a little bit more to print," but he's like, "It's just more work." So, well, that's part of your job, right? He's like, "Fuck you." It's like, your job's the printer, buddy. My job is to get you what I need to get you so you can print it. But even when he looked at Tannhäuser, he's like, "Yeah, it's going to drive off a lot of young people that are stuck and glued to TikTok." He's like, "This is going to," and it's even in like adults our age, which is staggering to think that we're all in our 40s. I think. I mean, Don over here looks like he's 20.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere, sir. But no.
Shut up. Let me flirt with you, man. I'll flirt with you. You're adorable.
All right. So then let's you know, whore yourself out a little bit.
Whore myself out.
At Tannhäuser, where you know, people gonna know, where's it gonna be available? When can they get it? For those who read.
For those who read, we all read. I can read my name right here. No, right now we're actually doing a Substack on it.
Okay.
How many people know about Substack? It's a long form essay type website. So we're releasing a behind the scenes on the book as it goes. Like this is the book right here itself. I forgot to put that away.
It's a lot of white.
It is a lot of white. it's like insane amounts of paper. The idea was that I think it was 2023 is when I woke up one morning. I was like, hey, 3:00 in the morning, I woke up, fucking thunderstorms outside. And I go into this office. It wasn't this cute looking. And I have my mom's old cassette recorder that she would do like a dictaphone thing when she would talk out her story. And I just started recording. And over that protracted amount of time it took to actually bring Tannhäuser up, I recorded a lot of my thoughts and processes and what was coming into my head and how it was going there. Then it began to segue into essays that I would just write, things that would just kind of roll out of my head. And it wasn't stuff that would be necessary for Tannhäuser, but it was stuff that, no, I take that back. Let me retract that. It was stuff that was necessary for Tannhäuser because it was the foundation stones for the certain segments of this book. So we're building behind the scenes itself that viewers and readers can go to and actually track the making of Tannhäuser. To include all the essays, behind the scenes photos, we're doing little mini documentaries as we get closer to the release. We'll actually go to our printer, do a whole little documentary on that, do documentaries on the I almost said podcast circuit, Jesus, book circuits, just a place where everyone can go to kind of peer into the making of a novel. Because I buy Blu-rays all the time. I love them still. And I usually do not like buying a Blu-ray if it doesn't have special features. Because I want to know the creative process as to what people are doing. Because like Nolan's process is completely different than Fincher's process. And it's just this cool backdrop into someone else's creativity. And I've always loved that. So we're releasing all that through tannhausernovel.substack.com. Like this whole thing, I wrote an essay a while back about just talking. And this whole thing will be included onto an essay itself that'll release as a secondary piece of behind the scenes. So that'll be like we have on the site itself, we have all the essays, podcasts, then the commentaries are starting to release here in about 2 weeks. I just want to, I've always said, I'm like, I think the job of an artist is to connect with people more than it is to entertain. Because the entertainment is a byproduct of connection. Like we all connect to Star Wars usually because it harkens back to a time where we had close friends in our childhoods, and then the world seemed massive and large, and you couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah.
And then, like all my stuff, like I don't know, it's like I remember the comic book, it's a graphic novel called Park Bench. And I'm going to butcher his name. Christophe Chabot. It's a French word, but Park Bench. It was one of those books that kind of, during that process, I discovered it at Barnes & Noble, opened it up, and it's all about a park bench. And it's just nothing but park bench. And I'm like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And by the time you're at the end of it, you're crying because the park bench is put away. You're like, oh, fuck. I'm like, this is great. And that's ideally what every single artist and writer wants, is that connection to people. Because so many people lack it these days.
So do you have a release date yet?
It's currently right now at its current pace, we're hoping late 2026. Okay. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be early 2027.
Okay.
It's because right now I'll show you once we stop recording, but I have a graphic designer working on whole templates for the book itself that I can drag and drop and load the actual text in it. Because that's one thing that she was telling me. She's like, please, please, please do it. Like, as you move towards completion, so many writers don't plan ahead. They just dump it. And then when it gets to printers, like my buddy Brian Boyd was telling me, he's like, they've loaded files of books that are ready to go, and it's just off. It's off kilter. It's offset. It's kerning, ledging, and margins are fucked. That's because they didn't have an editor go through and go this, and this.
Yeah.
So the editor not only does like grammar and spelling, the whole shebang, but it also does hey, this margin's fucked. What I wanted to do was to create, and I've designed all the templates and have an actual graphic designer design them so that they're locked in place. And I just fill it in. And then we have little stages where we send off that stage to her. She analyzes it, makes sure everything is working. And then those are locked. And that goes to the next stage. Because the book right now is probably going to be close to anywhere between 500 to 600 pages. And it's a massive book in comparison to Inheritance, which was 30 pages.
Yeah.
I was like, this is, or 32 with the.
Yep.
But that's the stuff I've always wanted to do. And now we're actually doing it. So it's kind of cool to see how much loss can actually affect people in their lives if they just allow it to. You don't let the grief completely crater your life. You can kind of claw your way out of it and create.
Yeah.
And that's what Sorry, Ed.
No. So I was going to say, so people can go to the Substack site now, though, and see that stuff, right? Like,
yes, that's all live right now. So I think the first commentary launches in a week. So that goes live in a week. The other ones start to drop. It's this constant updated system where that's the other thing I see authors not do is they don't plan ahead. They don't market ahead. They don't build a fan base. They just drop it into a vast sea of fucking competition, and it just simmers and falls away. It's like you have to actively get out there and be the man whore that I am. I mean, I managed to be I'm an introvert. Like I hate really going out and talking to a lot of people, but I am a man whore. In marketing terms, mind you.
Yeah, and it's funny. I will say, with independent comics today, people will do like a Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So they're talking about the book, people are funding it, and they're getting a taste of what's going on before it's released. Whereas novels, most time, like you said, people just write it, they plop it on Amazon, and they hope people will go buy it. Yeah. So
they want the quick approach. The quick approach doesn't really work. You have to plan ahead. Gary Vee talks about it, where it's like you have to advertise for a year before your book is even released to have it even stand a chance. Because when we launched Substack, I was watching a bunch of people talk about Substack, and they talk about, because it's a smaller platform dedicated to mainly writers. They say if you have 5 subscribers in your first year, you can kind of count the Substack as successful. And we're at 29 right now. I think 110 followers, if I'm correct. Probably wrong on that number. But we're moving in a direction that's actually starting to gain traction. That's the thing that I like about Substack is it's other authors and it's a bunch of readers. I found a couple guys, their work, that I'm like, okay, that's actually really kind of cool stuff you wouldn't really see because there's some authors that outright will not market, like Danielewski for House of Leaves, won't do it. He's just not built for it. He does his occasional like once a year YouTube, but he's just not built for marketing. So he had to bring in for his new book. He had to bring in the team from Penguin. I think it's Penguin, and you just see it. Like that's the other thing. Kickstarter. That's becoming so overly prevalent too. Like we know a couple indie bookstores that won't stock Kickstarter books. We've seen it here. Like I've asked them, like, do you guys stock Kickstarter books? And they're like, nope. Because it's almost like a power. It's like a not power. It's almost like a vacuum where it's like it's this hyper centralized place where this many people know about it. And ask yourself, all these Kickstarter books that are out there, comics or whatever you want to think, how many of them are actually widely known?
Right.
Not a lot.
Yeah, very few.
Because it's the vacuum. It's this, I've raised $1,700. I got my book printed and stuff. I mean, I get people want to do it, and I wish them well. I don't want to rely upon, I mean, if you treat it like a pre-sale option, I mean, you're okay with getting like, okay, a pre-sale and stuff. Like, okay, well, these guys bought it and now I can go take it out there. But you run the risk of more and more bookstores going, okay, who are you?
Yeah.
I did not realize that at all. Actually, I did not think about that, but yeah, it does make sense that they would snub their nose. You know, you're jumping the chain of command or something. You know,
a lot of the Kickstarter people, especially the comic people, they just keep going to Kickstarter. Like they don't. They don't do Kickstarter as successful and then print up a bunch and go to conventions and try to sell them or try to get them in the local stores. It's just they just keep doing the Kickstarter thing, and it's
because it's a cycle of money. Because this is my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, and there are some like Berserker with Keanu Reeves that did his Kickstarter that had a giant star behind it.
Yes,
but you see it. The smaller guys that are launching like $1,000 Kickstarters, it's boom, never see it again. So it's almost like it's. They're doing it for free. Then they put it up on Kickstarter, get paid $1,000 for how many books they sold. They've got $1,000 to kind of do the next one. Here's the next book. And it's great. If you want to kind of do that, I've always wanted to do the grassroots kind of thing of go out to the people. That's what we did with Inheritance was took it right to people. Right to the conventions. We sold out conventions. It's like, because people wanted to connect. I remember this one woman sat with us for, she talked to me for like 20 minutes because Inheritance was the story of my mother's death, wrapped around like paranormal and stuff. And we talked all the time because she went through a similar situation with her mother. And I know for a fact that when Tannhäuser releases and it's at the book conventions and doing its rounds, there will be some man that walks up and goes, I know exactly that look you're talking about. And it's the look I describe in the book of seeing someone seeing you and you seeing them for the first time ever, both realizing that other person's terrified of what's coming next. And they don't know how they're going to go about it. And I'm looking forward to that more than anything else because so many men.
Yeah.
We see it. Can't talk, can't really go out and do their own thing. Like, everyone's, oh, no, men can always do it. Like, no, you're judged heavily for doing any sort of like books, like films. Oh, how dare you do this? How dare you put this sort of talk or this sort of word in there? That's one thing I've heard from one of my friends that he was doing scripts and they came back with this can't be in there because it'll offend people. I'm like, long gone are the days where stories would have not rounded off edges. The corners are sharp as shit. When you fell into the coffee table when you were a kid, it hurt like hell. Now it's all rounded off. So, oh, ow. It kind of hurts. But you can't get that reality. You can't get that connection to people much anymore.
I love that.
I mean, could you imagine like someone writing like Old Yeller now?
Dude.
Absolutely fucking not.
Dude, it would be brutal. Like, if you go back to Mice and Men, like it is one of my favorite books. You could not get that made nowadays at all. You couldn't because it's got so many comments on fucking just with the guy. I can't remember his name.
Women, race.
women race, but it's to go because you brought it up because of Old Yeller. It's not Candy. It's Candy that. Oh my God, I'm forgetting. Where the dog is taken away from the old man because the dog is so old and they take him out and shoot him.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most brutal things. It's just like, I'm reading this as a kid and I'm like, oh my God. And that literally is laying the groundwork for what comes at the end of the book, where a guy that knows his mentally challenged cousin is about to be met with a fate that's horrifying. So he kills his own cousin to save his cousin from a fate. I remember asking my dad when I was a kid, one of those rare times we had, where I was like, what is that? Because I remember reading it when I was like 11 or 12, and it was just brutal. And he's like, so he explained to me the idea of a noble mercy kill, of being able to save somebody, because as he describes it, he's like, back in those days with that kind of stuff, it wasn't just they ran up to you and shot you. It was they tied you to the back of a fucking horse and they drug you through towns and they beat you and they made you die a slow and horrible death. And it's all because Lenny, who didn't understand his strength, didn't understand social cues, was petting a woman and then accidentally freaked out and killed her. And that's the whole comment of Steinbeck. You can't do that in modern times. I mean, you can. You're just going to have to do it like my way of just go about it in a way that is completely independent. And I hate that term independent. It's overwhelmingly prevalent, but you can't. Like, God, oh my God! Now I'm thinking about that. That's brutal.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the world we're in. That even like the classics, you couldn't make today because they might offend someone. They might hurt someone's feelings.
It's like, I think did you ever see the movie Sinners?
No, I want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Absolutely brilliant. I was expecting, okay, this can be cool. Fucking brilliant. And then you get like, that's what drives me nuts about politics, is people on both sides are equally as fucking insane. It's like everyone's like, oh, sinners, it's them. I'm like, holy shit. It is Ryan Coogler telling the story of blacks in the South with vampires from fucking Ireland. They came here, and it's fucking brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant because he's like, you know what? I'm not just going to do the story of vampires and this kind of stuff. It's going to be told in this musical sort of way where you see music translate and go over its timelines, and it's evolving in front of you, and you're just like, look at it going, dude, this is smart as shit. So when you do that kind of stuff where it subtly hits you with the fact that that stuff actually existed back in the day, but he's not just hammering that home to you. He's telling you a compelling story of overcoming that. And even if one of the people, I won't say anything because it's brilliant. It's one of those stories that you just like, more of this, please. Less of this shit. More of this. And that's why it's nominated for, I think it has the most Academy Award nominations, because it's just brilliant. You're just watching it going, you get this, you don't get that much with novels because everything's rounded off. It's glacial. It's kind of homogenized. It's like warm milk. And you're like, okay, like, please do something. Same thing in comic movies. It's like, oh my God, please stop. Please stop with, oh, look, Flash, look at my, oh my God. Take the time to just stop. Just have a dearth of comics where there's nothing. Where it's just a wasteland for a couple of years. Make people miss it. Because as everyone's excited about this upcoming Avengers movie, I'm like, okay, no. Like,
I was just talking about that in our last show.
Yeah.
The Avatar people do that. They say they go to the fuck. They drop $1 billion and they shut the fuck up till the next one comes out 3 or 4 years later. And then boom, $1 billion again. Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, it's like when the trailers came out, one of my buddies was like, "Oh my God, did you see the trailer?" I'm like, yeah, "Okay, cool. Captain America's back. I don't give a fuck. Captain America already had his life with Penny. It's great, cool. You fucking, that's done. Move on from it. Oh well, Robert Downey Jr.'s back. Who gives a shit? I don't care. It's like, bring more shit in. Let it kind of just sit. Let people kind of take the time to miss it. Like you were saying, Avatar. Like it took a decade from the first to the second.
I find it interesting where, like, you know, the sentiment with like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. were kind of like, yeah, the story's told. Like, we had our endings. Like, when coming back just cheapen it.
To me, it does, because you get the end of Endgame where Tony Stark dies. Any man that ever went and saw that I didn't cry. Go fuck yourself. You didn't sit there and turn away from your wife. Go, oh, fucking Tony has a heart. You are literally taking that, which is the baby, in the bathwater, just going, fuck. He's back, guys. Now he's Dr. Doom. It's like, fuck. It's like, like, you guys are terrible. Yeah. It's like, I think that one of the best examples of not doing that, and actually doing something like was I forgot his name, Brendan Fraser, when he was gone for so many years after being harassed and abused.
Yeah,
when he came back, he's wisely not just taking every role. Because I was watching another show, like, he hasn't done a lot since The Whale. I'm like, yeah, smartly. He's not going to flood because if you start seeing Brendan Fraser and everything, you're okay, dude, enough, please, no more.
And he wasn't a canceled Batgirl or whatever, adjacent movie as Firefly. So he did that, but it didn't even come out. So it makes that even more.
Did you ever see The Whale?
I have not. I'm
fucking brilliant.
I'm hard on movies.
You're not a movie fan?
No, I'm admittedly a power whore. I like to see them do the thing. You know, that's me. As I said, I'm in deep water right now with your knowledge of writing and fiction, and I mean, I'm an Omega level nerd, but just not there.
You probably know more about Star Wars than me.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no. Now I know how people feel when I'm talking about. Oh, well, they do this with Darth Revan, and then they use on Vaughn. Like, but
so here's a question for you.
Yeah,
you play games, right?
All the time.
What'd you think of Outlaws?
I haven't played it yet because I'm poor.
I love
it. But it did not look like I'm okay, but yeah. There's not a Star Wars game I don't like. I guess that's my thing on that. It looks perfectly fine for me, like fun.
To me, it felt like
I know it has a woman as a protagonist, so yeah, you know that
fuck?
Like horror of the internet comes out and
anyone's bitching about that. They seem to forget Ripley, Leia, all that sort of shit. That's a small, more vocal.
Sam Saran, sure, yeah, absolutely. But you're talking about gimmicks. Like, I like gimmicks. Gimmicks are familiar. Gimmicks make you feel safe. Mm-hmm. You know, I want all the robots to combine and come together and kill the big monster. You know,
gimmicks can be there. It's just when people try to crucify people for using them or doing something that's different, that they potentially become a gimmick if it catches on. It's like, it's like, no, you can kind of fucking do your own thing. It's like, going back to Star Wars games, like, we all remember Pod Racer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was fucking brilliant. Then they just released the trailer to a new one. I'm like, take my money. Please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that too with the whole gimmick thing. You know, you do it the first time you do it. If it's different, it's not a gimmick. It's a new idea. But if you keep doing it, then it becomes a gimmick. Mm-hmm. So
well, it's like, remember, there's a section of the horror comic we were doing that I talked to a buddy of mine who was a colorist. I'm like, hey, I want to do this. And it was this notion that after was going to be the third book in the series, the next two books would be fucking vibrant watercolor. It would just completely come out of left field, just wham. And you're going from black and white to bright, vibrant color.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told gimmick. And I'm like, because what was happening in it was at the end of the third book, the main character will get pulled into this dream version, almost like a demonic torment version, by the main villain. And he would begin to realize that this happiness that he was like it would start with him being around his mom when she's happy and healthy. And you're like, what the fuck? You just set this whole thing up where it's like she's dying of cancer, and now are we in the past? Are we in an offshoot timeline? Or are we on to this? And then the third book of that, or the third or fourth book, I can't remember right now, the main villain would appear, and then it would siphon the color out of the whole book. So you would see wrapping over and under all the panels, just tendrils of color, just going black and white. And everything just sucks into the feet of the main villain who goes color, and then blast this image. And at the end of the fourth book would be a hole. There's this whole thing, and it just resets the main character back right, and he sits up with his mom in the hospital. And you're just like, oh, that's a gimmick. Okay. Like, dude, okay, how's that a gimmick? Again, it's color. It's color. It's comic. We just set it up as black and white. Okay, great, cool. Go do your own thing. You go do your own thing. I'm going to do my thing. This isn't working out much anymore. I wish you well, and I hope you do some fucking amazing work. And God willing, more power to you. I don't want to be around people like that anymore. So I like you guys. I like my friend Nikki, my wife, everyone that I'm around are people that are wholly dedicated to doing things differently. Like you guys right now are reinterpreting superhero speak. As you do this more and more and more, and you figure out the ways, the shit from the old stuff that you discard wholly, and the stuff that you bring in new is going to be insanely great. And you just have to continue doing what you guys are doing and not being afraid of what other people think, because people are going to hate you no matter what. That's the thing I tell every writer. People will hate you no matter what. And you have to just be able to look at them and go, fuck off, do your own thing. We'll see who was like, it's not even a win. Like, I don't like anyone should win. Like, because you get people that do, everyone has their own opinion and their own perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, let people do their own thing. That's the thing of listening to you two talk, is fucking Dawn is super quiet. Like, super quiet. It's been hard to read you. I've been sitting here going, either this fucker hates me, or he's bored by me, or he's thinking about me naked. I don't know. One of the three. It's probably not the naked
I'm actually
one,
learning a lot, which is something I like to do. Because believe it or not, with what you described with your father and that experience actually gives me hope, believe it or not, in a weird way, because my father was non-existent in my life. He was been in prison. I did meet him when I was 13. My mom, for whatever reason, thought it was a great idea to send me with an uncle that I never met to go get him out of prison. And so that was a comfortable ride. And so we get him out of prison. And so that's super weird. And so one of my earliest memories is getting him out of prison, or of my dad at least. And what do? We go to some lady's house, and he goes up and takes her to Pound Town while I play Super Nintendo with her son. Like, how awkward is that? But it's not like we reconnected. He went away again. And even now, right now, I don't even know where he's at. But that gives me hope that at some point we can sit down and deal with it like father and son, because they don't hate him. I'm not that, so I forgive. That's the type of person I am. But maybe one day, may probably be a brief moment, in a year or two, but maybe before the end, we can sit down and actually do father and son stuff. It's what we think with Star Wars. When Vader is like, "No, I'm your father. Come with me. We can beat the Emperor out." If I was Luke, I'd have went with him. I'm like, "Holy shit, Dad! Fuck yeah, let's do this." So just learning through your experience though, and just marveling at how into it you are. That's very, very encouraging, because you're trying to make a business out of it. You've been very upfront with that. But at the same time, you want to create. You have this passion. You want to do it your way. And I love against the grain, underground type stuff. I love Raging Against the Machine. Even if people are saying gimmick, which is machiny, no, it's not. It's not machiny. Gimmicks are all. There's a lot of cool gimmicks out there that we love. You know why? Like a lot of movies, you see people walking away from explosions because it's fucking cool. Like, so fucking stop. Like, don't be so scared. Right. Like, don't be so afraid I don't want to be. If you do a gimmick, I'm going to be called a hack. No, you can do things with your own spin. You can. So anyway, I think you're great, man. Just I'm sorry, I am kind of harder. I have a resting dickhead face,
I guess. Jesus Christ, that's gonna have to be your. Make your logo, resting dickhead. Yeah. I think that's how most of us spend our lives seeking permission for everything, especially men. It's like, oh, I gotta have permission to do this. I gotta have permission to do that. And so many of us look for our fathers, like you, Don, with your father not being there, which is brutal. I thought my stuff was rough. And I mean, I watched my dad do stuff that I was like, what? Why? I remember trying not to say people's names, but I remember the matriarch would lie to my father about me, and my father would take it out on me. And then he would always have that same look in his eyes where, and it's in one of the essays further down the line, where that happened, and then he beat me till I blacked out. And I came to, and my mom's like holding on to him. And my dad, you can see the look in his eyes, the same look in his eyes that I saw on the day he died was, oh my God, what have I done? Where am I going? And talking to my dad in the last 2 years, which is why I'm extremely hopeful for you, especially if we can talk to your dads to find out how much. I was shocked to learn how much I was like my father in those last couple of years talking to him. To realize that the same self-deprecating humor I have is his. And it was done because the abuse he went through when he was a kid. That he always told me in those last couple of years that if he could beat them to the abusive words, it hurt less.
Yeah.
And it allowed him to kind of just bounce it off of him. But he would take it. And like finding out that's the same thing I do. The same self-deprecative stuff is to inhibit the same shit that hits me. And my dad spent so much of his life begging for love. Like the day he passed away, 2 people, when I told them about it, said that were close to him, said, I know, and said he made his bed. 2 people that he wanted to care about, 2 people that he wanted to be there for him, wouldn't do it. And that's part of the stuff that hurt the most, is to realize that, like, I called him all these horrifying things and stuff, and it was just a man.
Yeah.
Just a man struggling for any sort of connection. A dude that was in so much pain and agony, and even his son fucking. I'll have that same look on my face when it's my time to go, because I'm going to have to answer for inflicting pain on my father when he was in so much agony and he just couldn't tell anybody about it. And oh fuck. Oh, but that's I don't regret any of it, because he would always tell me in those last couple of years, don't regret anything, just accept what it is. He's like, find a way to use it. And then when he passed away and I couldn't get up for those 6 years, I just finally, something sat me upright. I was like, this is what you need to do. This is everything. Just boom, 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 boom. And it's like, whether you call it God, whether you call it the universe, something says, this is yours. Do something with it right now. And I began to realize that it's about that relationship, but it's also about the death of identity. The identities we all take and put upon ourselves to fit in with people. And you just have to get to a point where all of us say, this is who I am. I mean, Dave's always going to be this adorable little guy that paints, does all this cool shit, and started superhero speak, and Don's going to be this mega super fucking awesome nerd, and I'm just going to be me. And that's the best thing anyone can learn from any of us, is to just discard all the maladaptive behaviors and stick to exactly who you are. Because who I was that kid that would write novels instead of go out and talk to people. This should tell you how old we are. Did you guys ever go to the chat rooms?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the Star Wars chat rooms where you can play?
Mm-hmm.
I would do that shit. won't even have to hit colon.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. Text space. Yeah. Muds.
I remember my mom walking. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm working towards a Star Destroyer, and it literally is just some DM guy running this fucking Star Wars chat room. Like, writing's been in my blood even since then. I took on my dad's stuff because I wanted to give my dad a chance to see what his life could have been, because he gave up so much. Now at a certain point, people can actually see that father-son relationship built underneath the story of a guy that is completely suicidal, struggling to find a reason to stay while everything around him falls apart. That's what I think every man in this world kind of goes through. And if they're honest, they'll say that everyone's in search of a reason to stay. Because at certain points, it gets so bad that if we didn't have our wives and kids, many of us would just go walk off and never be seen again. Because I think men are, society doesn't want people to say it, but men are designed to crush, maim, kill, fucking conquer. That's exactly what the male mentality has always been. It's like that in nature. So you see it being sequestered away, and then a lot of us never had our Great War. Like World War II guys came out of the Great War, and they're just like carrying on, and a lot of us have what we have. Like, I don't know.
Closest I got was high school football. That was it.
I couldn't even do football. I was a nerd. I was a skinny.
Well, no,
nerd.
that was my hack, man. Like, I was a fat nerd. Played D&D and video games back in the day. But then we moved school districts. So I'm like, okay, so no one knows me there. And I went there, and I quickly ascertained that if you're on the football team, people liked you. And so that's what I did. And then so I was completely fucking nerdy, bonkers up, but I could bench press 300 pounds, and I was on a football team, so nobody messed with me. I was like, okay, this is cool. We can do this. They even got a girlfriend or two out of it.
Yeah. Dude, they can bench press 300. You're like, I am your god.
That was a long time ago, by the way. So, but
yeah.
Still, it's like, I don't know,
I joined the school band, which was the complete wrong thing to do.
I can see that, actually. What were you playing? Jazz trombone?
No, drums, and
okay, that makes sense. So it's
Dave plays all sorts of stuff. He's guitarist, bass guitarist,
He paints too. I started seeing his paintings, and I was like, I sent him something on Facebook or something. Hey man, that's a great painting. And it took him a week and a half to respond to it. I knew you'd like that. Dave is like one of those guys. It's like the girlfriend that texts back after a week. Hey, hey, how's it going, man? I'm like, fuck, dude. I could text him and go, I'm dying. A week later, sorry. Like, fuck, dude. Like, I'm dead now. Why are you responding? If I'm saying I'm dying, why are you even responding, Dave?
Oh my god!
Unfortunately, too late, a-hole. I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm dead, that's man. True. I'm bad at responding back to people.
Does your girlfriend know you're bad at responding?
No,
she responded to me.
He's fast.
But of course, we have spent time in hotel rooms together on multiple occasions.
Yeah. So
do you guys share the same bed?
No, not the same bed.
Come on.
Maybe this year.
Yeah, a pillow between you. Like we had a friend of mine that didn't drink a lot, and he went to Vegas with his brother-in-law. And he's like, "Hey man, give me a good drink." I was like, "Try Moscow Mule." So he's in Vegas, and he gets the really tall sippy cups. Dude has like 4 of them. Same thing with his buddy. So they go back to the hotel room. They're in their tuxes and stuff to go to dinner with their wives, and they woke up the next morning, side by side in the same bed because they got blackout drunk because they chugged 4 of them. I was like, so a little bit of bedtime's not bad. I mean, I think the worst thing hotel-wise I stayed in, like when I went to a TourneauCon years ago, the place where we were staying at, which I was provided, was the fucking like meth house of hotels.
Oh boy!
When we pull in it, there's a cop outside, and so we walk up and talk to the cops. Say, "Oh yeah, we're here because of the drugs." Why are we here? So we go in the bathroom. We go in the hotel room, and it's like the most dingy, dirty, grungy place of not worthy of human occupation. Like, this is where we're staying? I'm going to go sleep in the car.
Yeah.
There's a lot less gonorrhea in the car than it is on this bed. Like, I don't need chlamydia climbing up my foot in the shower, okay?
Right.
So, terrible.
All right. I kind of think for our audience, when you start talking about chlamydia, it might be time to
what do you think,
end the conversation for now.
Is that the time to go? Is chlamydia the synaptic point where Dave goes, we're done?
That's a fair rule. It's a fair rule.
I agree. Let's get a sense of that now. So people won't go, oh, fuck.
So besides the Substack, where can people find you online? Yeah.
Instagram.com.
Show your age.
Instagram.
www.instagram.com.
James D. Schumacher, spelled like that. This thing right here. And then same thing for my TikTok, which has 2 videos, which my wife is continuously telling me to release on because I'm old. And I'm like, what do you want to put on there? Sit in front of here and do like dances? And she's like, no, you got to do something with your book. I'm like, what am I going to do with my book? And I'm going to do the mopey thing. I see some of these TikToks. I'm like, I can't do it. So I'll just hire some young kid to do it for me.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us. I'm sorry, I just got a text I have to respond to.
Are you saying
don't make a stranger? Don't be a stranger. You're going to come back on, especially when the book's about to come out. We'll have you back on to talk about that.
I'll just message you a month in advance so you respond to me on time.
That'll work.
Jesus.
But you know,
it's been a blast.
Yes, thanks for being on. And again, don't be a stranger. So as always, boys and girls, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or 2. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit our merch